EA Sports, it's in the game. There's no doubt about it now. This guy has to be in the All-Madden team.
This is a special presentation of EA Sports from the Coliseum in Oakland. Our tribute to the coach, the John Madden Legacy Game. I'm Brandon Gaudin here to take you through the proceedings. And coming up, we're going to tell the story of a man who was truly larger than life and whose impact on the sport of football certainly is going to live on for decades and decades to come. Now, we've assembled a couple of rosters featuring some of Coach's favorite players from both yesterday and today. And Coach himself will be on the sidelines for both squads, trying to motivate his guys to victory. I'm joined now by my good friend Charles Davis. CD, your thoughts on John Madden and what he meant to the sport he loved so much?
For me, Brandon, it's the word joy. He brought that to the game of football and brought the game to so many people. He stayed involved his entire life. And moving forward, when you think of football, you're always going to think John Madden.
The Coliseum back to its original 70s glory. What a scene in the East Bay. And we're underway in the John Madden Legacy Game. And taken down just past the 20 at about the 21-yard line. So it's the NFC stars who will get the ball first. And Charles, as we alluded to, we've got a different era of coach on each sideline. So the man coaching this NFC squad, we'll call him Young John Madden. This is a coach who was trying to establish a foothold in the NFL and on the cusp of doing it very successfully.
Yeah, you think back to that period, those early days as the coach of the Raiders, the late 60s in the AFL and then in the NFL in the early 70s. Coach was a guy who was ahead of his time. The Raiders were one of the first teams to have mini camps, one of the first to film practice, because he wanted to practice coaching as much as he could. And his teams, they were successful right from the start of his head coaching tenure.
They start on the ground here at Sanders. The game's first play produces 6 yards, brings up second down.
Well, I think after that run, the defense getting back in the huddle and looking at each other and maybe starting to question their confidence a bit. They gave up a significant run, 6 yards, and now you're saying to yourself, how do we stop them, and do I have enough confidence to make a play?
The quick throw knocked away. It's incomplete.
Receiver coaches preach to their guys all the time, separation. That's what's going to make the play successful. That time there was very little, and I think they were actually fortunate that it was only knocked away and not intercepted.
And this time he's going backwards. So after the no gain on the last attempt, here they get him behind the line. Losing 2 yards that time, and now it's 4th down.
When a draw works, it can be a thing of beauty. But when it doesn't, oh, it can be ugly. And in this case, loss of yardage ugly.
They'll try and throw for it with Favre. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. A surprising move here on the opening drive of the game. And on the opening drive of the afternoon, the defense forces a turnover on downs. So they take a big chance here in their own territory. And you think the coach may have some questions to answer?
Yeah, and, you know, normally we focus on the media, right? The social media barrage that he's going to get for this one. How about on his own sideline and in his locker?
Trying to force it to Allen, and it's intercepted. Kevin Green with a pick. And his guys are going to take over at the 21-yard line. Well, look, we're watching a quarterback here that's obviously been around for a long time. That's a throw he wishes he had back.
He certainly does, but as you well know, this is a guy that's used to taking a few chances, used to fitting it into tight windows. These are throws that he's made before. Didn't happen to get it completed in this case.
Ready to begin their next drive here, the NFC offense. A kind of a lucky break on the prior drive, Charles. The turnover on downs that the offense had didn't come back to bite them after the other side. Their defense came through, was able to hold them without any points.
I would agree with you, partner. A little bit of a lucky break indeed, but you know what they'd say to us? No luck, just pure skill. We rose to the challenge, and we didn't permit a score. That's how we roll.
Well, I'm kind of curious, Charles, if they might temper their aggressiveness now offensively if they get in that fourth down spot again.
Yeah, one would think so, but maybe because they held them, they might go for it again.
So they just need 1 yard here to pick up the first down. To throw is far. Hard throw, incomplete.
2 drives won't tell the story of this game, but you absolutely have to like how this defense has played thus far. They have yet to allow this offense to get on track in this one.
It's a quarterback sneak. And they will touch him down, but not before he gets the first. A big roll of the dice on 4th and 1, but it pays off. They convert.
It seems like a short distance, but a yard in this situation, not easily done. So big compliments to the guys up front for creating some space, and especially the guy taking the snap and finding a spot, finding a sliver, an opening, and making it work.
Will go down as a gain of 6, and it's 2nd down. And they go play action with Favre. Flushed out right. And that'll be incomplete.
And he's only hit on 2 of his first 6 passes. Time for a quick quarterback regroup here with a big 3rd down coming up.
Here's the 7th play of this drive. This is 3rd and 4. Here's Favre to throw. And looking for Kittle, but it's intercepted. Picked off by Stephon Gilmore. And he'll get this back to the 32-yard line. Well, certainly not his best throw that time, and not a good time to make it, Charles, when they were a nickel with 5 defensive backs on the field.
And that's exactly why you have those 5 DBs out there. You want extra speed on the field, guys who have ball skills and understand what the passing game can do, and gives them a chance to react and make a play on the football, and they take one of those away.
Now the AFC making their way out, and it's one of Coach's favorites, another local guy, Tom Brady, who will be at the controls. And boy, Coach always admired the way number 12 could run an offense, and especially his ability to stay calm under pressure.
Tom Brady is a guy who's always looking downfield. He never looks at the rush. He hangs in the pocket, and he makes a throw. He's a cool guy, and he's a tough guy. Let me tell you, there's no one calmer in the pocket than Tom Brady.
And I know the coach has a great...
The AFC with the football here to begin the 2nd quarter, as they've got it with a 2nd and 4 coming up. Now Allen. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll leave them with a 3rd and 3. Brady now to throw. And that's complete to the right side. It's Allen. And taking it to the 15-yard line before he's brought down. Call it a gain of 10, and they pick up the first. On play action, now Brady. And he's not able to get away. Sacked back at the 22. William the Refrigerator Perry breaking through to get him to the ground. It's a loss of 7. Now a first carry for their fullback. It'll be a gain of about 5, but they're left with a 3rd and still about 12 to go. 2 minutes remain here, the first half of the John Madden Legacy game. We'll be back.
And that's why that position was created. Big, powerful, strong guy who can carry the ball and plow forward. That's exactly why you have him on the field.
Throwing is Brady on 3rd down. And it's intercepted at the goal line. Ronnie Lott, the Hall of Famer, with a pick.
And that felt like a little extra pressure on that 3rd down attempt, and their mistake will cost them points because they're inside the red zone. So you know you've got at least a field goal waiting for you. And in this case, they end up with nothing.
The offense for the NFC ready to get their next drive started. And, partner, I know so far, and we're still in the first half, but you love this game as a defensive guy. 0-0. We'll see if the offense can get going on this drive.
Well, you know how they talk about music to your ears? How about what it does for your eyes when you watch something like this, right, where these teams are locked in and going at it, no points going up on the scoreboard? I'm loving it. You're exactly right.
Well, switch over, though, to an offensive mindset for a moment. What do they need to do here to get on track and get some points?
Well, I think a couple of ways. Number one, you pull out something that maybe they haven't seen before. Coaches always talk about unscouted looks. Maybe you give them something that they haven't seen on tape, and now you shock them that way. The second, run your basic playbook, but run it so well that you give your skill position guys a chance to make big plays individually.
And this is dropped. Oh, it's incomplete. He had a big gainer in his sights, but he did not reel it in.
But they went for the big play there, but that drop could really hurt their momentum.
And the NFC punt team out there now, as his first punt will come from inside his own end zone. Oh, able to avoid him. And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. The AFC offense heading back out. You know, Charles, Coach really loved to utilize his tight ends in the passing game. You think about Dave Casper, Hall of Famer for those great Raider teams. And I think he saw a lot of Dave Casper in an all-Madden staple, Tony Gonzalez.
Tony Gonzalez is the type of tight end I think everyone's looking for. He's a guy that can make some big plays from that tight end position. Let me tell you, you better make sure you have him accounted for on every play.
And that's exactly right, because Dave Casper, he could shred defenses down the middle of the field. And that's exactly what Tony Gonzalez did in his entire career. A 14-time Pro Bowl selection. Only Tom Brady has more. There's 6 guys in the 15,000-yard receiving club. He's the only tight end in there. Tony Gonzalez, every snap you had to know where he was because he could make plays short, medium, and long, and often put the ball in the end zone.
Got him in. That's Tim Brown. And he's going to come up a few yards short. Brought down at the 45. Now the NFC going to call the first of their 3 timeouts as the clock will stop with 45 seconds to go in the first half. Brady going to go on 4th down. And he's brought down. Can't do anything with a football. It's a sack and a turnover on downs. The AFC went for it, and it doesn't work out. And that will force a turnover on downs. Well, it was too far for a field goal try. You don't really gain a whole lot out of a punt, so I don't think you have much of a problem with that, do you?
No, not at all. I think it's the right play, the exact right play, because even if you want to play defense and pin them deep, you know how hard it is for a punter to knock one dead inside the 10-yard line. That's not necessarily easily done. So I think going for it there was the right call.
Pass is tipped, but he's still able to bring it in. Now the NFC going to take a timeout, their second, as the clock will stop with 35 seconds to go in quarter number 2.
Sometimes it pays to be lucky rather than good. That was not even the intended receiver on that pass.
But still able to haul it in for the reception. First and 10, it's Favre. Eluding the pressure right. And this one nearly picked off. Kind of surprising to see a defender of his caliber let it get away, but get away it does, and it's 2nd down. Favre. And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. Javon Curse. It'll go as a loss of about 8 as he gets in there to drop him. Now whistles and a timeout with 3 seconds left in the first half. So 3 seconds here remain in the half on as the field goal unit to see about getting 3 points. The Hall of Famer's kick is good, and that will do it. Coming up in the second half, we'll run through John's post-coaching triumphs. But for now, we present a very special tribute to the man of the hour, narrated by Trey Mosley.
What comes to mind when you hear the name Madden? Is it the coach who led the Raiders to their first Super Bowl victory? Perhaps it's the broadcaster who entertained millions of fans. Or maybe it's the video game known simply by his name. But no matter what comes to mind when you hear the name Madden, everyone thinks of one thing: football.
The core of it was football. It's the greatest game in the world. The left goes to the right goes to the left.
Madden is on the field. He wants to know if it's real. John Madden goes on the shoulders of his players.
In my mind, John Madden is the most important figure in the history of professional football. Show me somebody else who did it on 3 levels the way John did it. There's nobody.
Boy, Charles, yeah, that is really well done. Coach was something else, wasn't he?
I'm reminded what Al Davis said when he was inducted coach of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Brandon. He loved the game. He loved his team. He loved the Raiders. He loved this league. And you can see it with everything he does.
No doubt. But it's quite possible, though, that now he would say, hey, enough of that. Let's play some football. The second half forthcoming from Oakland. The drive starts with a run by Allen. And this will be a gain of 5 as he gets into the 30. So now, Charles, to pick up the story we've been telling, John Madden at 42. He just completed a 10-year stint as the coach of the Raiders. He wants to step away a bit from the grind of coaching, but he doesn't want to step away from the game of football. So he ends up signing on with CBS in 1979 to try his hand at broadcasting. And much like his coaching career, he was pretty much an instant success.
Partner, he really connected with the people right from the start, and people may not remember, he wasn't even on the #1 team in the beginning. He worked his way up. But the same things that made him a great coach made him a great broadcaster. The ability to show the big picture, yet break it down into the details. That's what he did with his teams. That's what he did with the people. That way, he was simple to understand, yet insightful for viewers, and he did with that big personality that he had.
And he can't field it cleanly. It's loose. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, and that could have been trouble.
I know there's no magnet in the ball, but sometimes for the punt returner, after such a scramble, it sort of feels that way, doesn't it? He has it, he loses it, somehow the ball finds its way back to him.
Atone for his sin, and you know he's taking a deep sigh of relief right now. Far throw pulled in by Kittle. So for Coach Madden, Charles, by 1981, his broadcasting career is really taking off. He's elevated to the network's #1 booth that calls all the big matchups. And he gets the plum assignment of calling Super Bowl 16, 49ers and Bengals, and he's teamed up with Pat Summerall. And that pairing ultimately would go on to be one of the most influential in sports broadcasting history.
Influential not just in us listening to them. Remember, they went on and called 8 Super Bowls together. But how they put together kind of the template that all of us broadcasters follow now. Sitting down with the head coaches and the quarterbacks and the stars of each team before a ball game to get extra information. And the way that those two paired together, Pat Summerall, short, concise, to the point, and turned it over to Coach Madden to fill in all the big details.
A good action to this point in the third quarter. Just a 3-point game. 2nd and 10. Throwing is far. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. They dial up the corner blitz that time, and it delivers to the tune of a 9-yard loss.
We are seeing 2 really confident defenses imposing their will on these offenses in this game.
Yeah, absolutely, going toe for toe. Just curious if one of these offenses can wake up a little bit.
Is there any way they can find something that can pop, something big to knock them back on their heels?
The play action fake. They'll look to throw. That'll be caught by Cobb. And he'll have this past the 30 prior to going out of bounds. It'll be a pickup of 13, but it'll still lead to a 4th down.
That's certainly playing down in distance very well by the defense, isn't it? Take whatever you want underneath by all means.
They're going on 4th down. It's Favre. And able to haul it in is Kittle. And he is finally forced out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. 4th down conversion plays, you usually think 1, 2, 3 yards, maybe 10. Not there. What a huge pickup as the sticks make a drastic shift forward. On the defensive side of the ball, that's the definition of frustrated. You get them to 4th down, and then you allow a chunk play like that in the passing game.
Almost felt as if that play was drawn up in the dirt on the sideline. They pulled that from a game plan that wasn't this game, and they still made it work.
Back now here on EA Sports. It's been a very hotly contested game to this point. Just a field goal separating these two teams as we get set for the 4th quarter. They'll throw on 1st down with Favre. He's going to take a shot for the end zone. And that's going to be too high. Out of bounds and incomplete. As you mentioned, CD, talking about John Madden, the broadcaster, he called 8 Super Bowls with Pat Summerall, 3 more with Al Michaels later in his career. He spent nearly 3 decades in the booth all told. And not only was he beloved for his mannerisms, we know that, but he was an innovator as well.
Yeah, Brandon, you talk about things like the telestrator, which totally became identified with him, and now it's a staple for all analysts to have in the booth. And then you think about things like turducken on Thanksgiving, when he used words like boom and pow. He helped create the old Madden team. He was a very popular commercial pitch man. And even the Madden cruiser was unique, and you had to be someone to get a ride on it, too.
From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. Hit as he throws there, incomplete.
We're seeing these defenses make enough opportunistic plays to keep this one low scoring. Flying around, making plays on the ball, and we see yet another errant throw as a result.
Favre on 2nd down. And look at this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. Rob Woodson with a pick. And the return just out across the 15 to the 16-yard line. A seismic shift in momentum here in the 4th quarter. That's the break that the defense needed.
And you know as well as I do, people are going to question the play call in that situation. Sometimes you have to question the execution, not necessarily the call. And in this case, those defenders found a way to give their team a chance.
Now a pass dumped off to his running back. And he is going to lose yardage here. Now, CD, we did get a little ahead of ourselves talking about John Madden, the broadcaster in the 90s and 2000s, because there was another product during that time period that he became quite famous for, and it's something that you and I know. And Brady going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Picked up by Jalen Ramsey. And they have the football and will take over at the 24-yard line.
Partner's bad enough when you just can't hold on to the football. But when your quarterback's throwing it to the other team, that's 3 interceptions now, 4 turnovers for the game. You really have no chance to win the football game.
They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. Got his man complete over the middle. That's Sanders. Now the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on 2nd down. So, CD, you look at the accumulation of John Madden's achievements in the world of football, the coaching success, the Super Bowl title, the incredible career as a broadcaster with 12 Emmy Awards, Madden, the video game. It was very fitting back in 2006 that John Madden got the call to be enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A more deserving person you will not find. He gave an incredible speech on that day, Brandon. So many of his former Raider players were in attendance. He talked about how he envisioned that when the last person turns off the lights in the hall every night, Did the bus talk football amongst themselves? And what a discussion that might be.
Yeah, he finished his speech by saying, "Today feels like the second time in my life that I'm being carried off on the shoulders of others. Yet instead of off the field, it's into the Hall of Fame. This has been the sweetest ride of them all." And this is caught. And that could seal it. It's a touchdown. Well, he's regarded as one of the best athletes among NFL tight ends, Charles, and it certainly was on display right there.
And as we've seen this league continue to grow and develop, I think the tight end position is becoming harder and harder to defend because now it's elite athletes playing that position, not just the big guys who can block. How about his ability to get downfield and make plays against any defense?
So they only needed 3 plays on that drive. And it all ends with a George Kittle touchdown. Following the touchdown, here's Anderson to kick it away. Dante Hall going to bring it out of the end zone. And he will be brought down here inside the 20. Good coverage as he's dropped at the 17. The AFC offense set to take their next drive. And you're still in this game. I mean, yeah, you haven't scored. Offense obviously has struggled, but you're only 2 scores down, so all hope not lost.
Not at all, because we were talking about the NFL, and teams can score fast in this league. Quick strikes, you're right back in it. You're exactly right. Keeping hope alive.
Now Brady. Yeah, he'll find Hall. You think about John Madden in his retirement years post-broadcasting. He was about as active as most people are in their working years. I mean, he continued to play a key role on the NFL's competition committee. He was available to a wide range of people as a tutor, as a mentor. He continued to teach the game of football to all who would listen. And Charles, as you and I know, he even continued to provide input, a lot of input on the Madden video game.
Yeah, I know a lot of folks that design and build this game certainly look forward to the yearly visits out to the Madden compound that he had out in the East Bay. They pitch the new aspects of each year's game to him, get his feedback, and then get to sit back and spend 6 hours with him on a Sunday, watching football and listening to him tell stories. And
he's got a man, complete. And he is going to be taken down with a big gainer there on 4th, and the AFC going to keep the drive alive. Now a throw to the end zone on 1st down, but it winds up incomplete.
Limited time left on the clock after that incompletion, so I think both sides are going to savor every second to prepare before the next snap. Because once the ball's in motion, it may be a non-stop push to finish this.
And he takes this one into the end zone, and all of a sudden, here in the final minute, things get a little bit tighter. Vinatieri connecting on the extra point. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this 4th quarter. So still a small chance here with a little over 30 seconds to go, but they're definitely going to need this one to bounce their way. So still a small chance here with a little over 30 seconds to go, but they're definitely going to need this one to bounce their way. And this is going to be secured by the NFC, and they are going to win this football game. Well, 4th quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside.
And he can't get a throw away. He's taken down. Now the AFC going to use their final timeout of the half as they stop it with 28 seconds to go in this football game. Don't need it all back at once, but you figure they're going to need something here. 17 yards to go on 2nd down. Now it looks like he'll throw here. And this one incomplete. Threw it down at the feet of his receiver. Well, this has certainly been special. And Charles, as we wind down toward the end of this John Madden legacy game, your final thoughts?
Well, let's face it, partner, it's going to be hard to overestimate the impact that he made, not just on the sport of football, but on his family, friends, players, co-workers, and in the lives of millions of Americans who watched him. There will never be another John Madden.
Now Favre. Oh, he'll look downfield for Kittle. And he's got it inside the 10. Now the NFC going to take a timeout, their second. That'll leave them with just one remaining in this fourth quarter of play. It's first and goal and a late touchdown at this stage. Could officially salt this one away. From the shotgun, it's Favre. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
Tell you what, Brandon, if I see a dime look, if I see 6 defensive backs near the goal line, I'm changing to a running play every time.
And they had 6 there. Surprised he didn't audible at the line?
Very much so. I'm going to count on my offensive line in this situation against the lighter defensive backs and try and push it across the end zone that way.
Now a second down throw for the end zone, but it's incomplete. A lot of tired bodies on that field, but this is a big play, 3rd and goal. They'll try to run with Sanders. Yeah, boy, a good surge defensively. It'll depend. So it's a win here for the NFC. Just an incredible afternoon of football and remembering the life of John Madden. And before we go, one final message. And for all of us at EA Sports, this one's for you, Coach.
I just say this, I thank you all very much. This has been the sweetest ride of them all.